Welcome to Raising Confident Readers, the Vision Reading Academy podcast, where science meets story and reading takes on a whole new dimension. I'm Crystal, founder of Vision Reading Academy and a research scientist with a passion for decoding how the brain and eyes work together to unlock learning. Around here, we don't do fluff. We dive into real strategies, real results, and the fascinating science behind how kids learn to read, think, and thrive. This isn't vision therapy, and we're not handing out prescriptions. But we are breaking down brain-based tools and research-backed methods that actually help. So whether you're a parent, educator, or just wildly curious about how vision connects to learning, you're in the right place. Let's get nerdy, let's get practical, and most of all, let's get kids thriving. Welcome back to Raising Confident Readers. If you listened to last week's episode, you heard Kennessa share the incredible journey of discovering why her daughter was struggling to read and how that discovery completely changed the trajectory of her life. But discovering the problem was only the beginning. In today's episode, we're talking about what happened next. What do you do when your child doesn't want to do the exercises? How do you stay consistent when progress feels slow? What role do parents really play in helping their child succeed? And what does it actually look like when a child's confidence begins to replace years of frustration? This conversation is honest, practical, and full of hope. If you're in the middle of your own journey with a struggling reader, or you're wondering if it's worth sticking with the process, I think you're going to find a lot of encouragement in today's episode. Let's jump back into our conversation with Kennessa.
And the stuff she does now. She just started archery recently. She's doing sewing. She's a perfectionist. And her little seams are so straight. Can you imagine? I can't even imagine how frustrating it would have been to try to sew and have straight lines if her gaze point was not unified. How frustrating that would be. And then she was interested in starting archery. We literally just started a couple weeks ago. This just happened yesterday. She had sewing yesterday. And then we ran quickly over to archery. Archery was almost over. She got to shoot one round. She had 2 bullseyes. And every single arrow was within the target. That would not have happened without a unified gaze point. It's a game changer for kids who are athletes, but even not athletes. She's sewing.
An artist.
Artists, everything, anything that you need to have any kind of depth perception or accuracy, which is everything. It benefits everything.
From driving to art to daily activities to sports to all of it, it's affected. Very much so. Very much so. So talk to me a little bit about how she's a little bit of a stubborn one, right? So because we're going to have those parents that are going to question, is my kid going to do this? Are they going to be willing to do this? Because this is an in-depth program. It's not something that is just kind of easy and give you 1 to 2 steps a week to be able to do something. This is an in-depth program. It's a hands-on program. The parents have to be working with the child and supporting them through it to make sure that they get the exercises done that we have assigned for them, the massages, everything else that we have for them in order to advance through the program, to get their tension released, to get their muscles working properly, to get all of that working so that they are having that unified gaze point instantaneously, effortlessly, without having to use that energy. So with that stubbornness, that little stubborn streak that you have with your daughter, what was it like for you in the program? And what were some things that you did to help continue your daughter in the program so that you could see the results that you did with her?
That's a really great question. Because in the same regard that I would get frustrated with her reading, now I'm frustrated that she's fighting me about doing the exercises. The reason that she fought me on them was, I think, for a couple of reasons. One is it was hard. And it is at first. Just like starting anything new, and especially if you have a weakness, that muscle weakness, sometimes making those movements or waking things up, waking those muscles up was irritating to her. And I was like, I don't like it. I know you don't like it. I understand that. And I would remind her, this is the worst it's ever going to be. This is the hardest it will ever be. If we keep going, it gets easier. And so we had to start small. And I would recommend that to any parent. Start small and work them up into that. Just like you wouldn't just run to the gym and lift super heavy on your very first workout. You'd be so sore, or you would create injury, and then you wouldn't be able to get back to it, right? So it's a matter of easing it. So that's what we had to do. We had to ease it. It took us a very long time to get as many exercises for growth. It took us a much longer time to get to that point because I had to work with her willingness to do it and her choosing to do it. Incentives worked really well with her. So her being able to see her progress too was a big deal. So I created a sticker chart for her. We let her pick out the stickers. That's also a big deal. If she gets to pick the stickers, then she wants to use it. Oftentimes, stubborn kids just want control. So giving them a measure of control. We have to do these today, but you can choose what time do you want to do them. I can't leave the whole day open though, or she'd be like, bedtime. That's not the best time. The eyes are tired. That's going to be a very difficult time. We have between 9 and noon. What time would you like to do an exercise? So she has a choice. She doesn't get to choose whether she does it or not, but she has a choice in that. Okay. And then we will have a snack, oftentimes making sure she's not hungry. I would find little things like that. If she's hungry, she's going to be like her mother. She'll be a little hangry.
I remember sometimes where she would forget to eat before one of our sessions.
Oh. And she's tired and totally unwilling. Arms are folded. I'd like to see you make me.
Yes.
We're talking that start. And no amount of prompting or no amount of incentive was going to change that.
Mm-hmm.
And even rational conversation like, hey, if we just do this, it'll be over, it'll be done. Nope, it wasn't going to happen. It wasn't going to happen.
In some
So,
sessions, it didn't.
nope. Sometimes she sat with her arm folded the whole time.
Yep.
And it was very, very, very frustrating to me because I'm paying for these sessions that nothing happens. And that's not the coach's fault.
Mm-hmm.
That was my child, 1,000% my child. And so that was very, very difficult. So recognizing that she needed to have eaten, she needed a snack, she needed to not be hungry. I also needed some prep time. I needed to give her that 30-minute warning. Hey, we're going to have a session in 30 minutes. Or if she had chosen, I want to do my exercises at 10 o'clock this morning. Okay, perfect. Well, then I need to give her a warning. I also found that if she was on any kind of screen before her session, the stubbornness was almost like it just isn't going to happen. And screens would deeply affect her. It doesn't matter if she was on a tablet, a computer, the TV. It didn't matter what kind of media she was consuming, even whether it was a game or a show. Me interrupting that, now she doesn't want any part of it. I don't want to do this. You can't make me, kind of thing. And it was a nightmare. So making sure she didn't have that exposure to screens, that we were able to really set her up for success. It took a while to figure that out, though. There was a lot of frustrating sessions. There were a lot of frustrating times where I would sit next to her at the table, try to do the reading exercises or getting her exercises done because she just didn't want to.
Hey guys, before we continue, I want to let you know that for a limited time, Vision Reading Academy is offering free assessments for children who are struggling with reading or learning challenges. If you've been wondering why school feels harder than it should for your child, this is a great opportunity to get clarity and a plan. Visit visionreadingacademy.com to book your free assessment before our spots fill up. Now back to the episode. I'm trying to find a book that I just read, and we'll do another podcast on this. Reset Your Child's Brain by Victoria L. Dunkley. She goes into a lot of the screen stuff and how you were talking about the behaviors and how it affects your daughter with that case. So I will do another episode on screens and everything else and the science behind the effects that it's actually doing to everybody's brains, not just our children's, but everybody's brains.
We also want to address what it does to the eyes as well, since something that we
Yes.
deal with And because the eyes and the brain are absolute partners and they have to work together, the one affects the other. That's going to be a fantastic episode to discuss that because we live in the digital age.
Okay.
We can't really keep our children from screens. So how do we do that in a healthy way? So it's really, really important to know and understand that. But definitely not having a screen prior to a session. And she can have that as a reward afterwards. That's some things I've had to do as well. She needed some downtime before the session, or it was going to be a no-go situation. And we would both be angry and frustrated. And again, that's the last thing I want as a mother. I do not want my children to grow up with a frustrated and angry mom because I love them so deeply. I know their potential and I want so badly to help them achieve that potential that I don't want that to be their only memory of me is like, well, she was always frustrated with me. Let's mitigate that frustration by understanding why it's coming into place. She was frustrated because she wasn't seeing things. It was hard. Reading was hard. She didn't want to do it. It hurt and it wasn't fun and I don't want to do it. Well, can you blame her?
Right. Yeah.
I
It wasn't because she was lazy. It was literally because there was a barrier that was stopping her, but yet she didn't have a way to communicate that to you and say, this is my problem.
Yeah.
So in steps, VRA, and helping find that for her. And then you are now taking her down the road of making sure that she gets her exercises in, making sure that she gets the massages in, she's doing the reading exercises, everything else like that. And now she's a completely different kid.
And there's one other thing that I did. She's the fourth of 5 children. I put her older siblings in charge of doing an exercise with her at a certain time of day. In the beginning, she couldn't do them on her own and she needed that outside help. And me doing that 5 times, 3 to 5, even the 3 times as a bare minimum was just difficult. It was difficult even for our relationship, the frustration that I would feel knowing that I was going to deal with the resistance possibly 3 to 5 times a day was going to hurt our relationship. And so me asking for outside help, having my husband help her. So I would do one with her and I would do the reading with her. And then she would have a sibling or her dad do the exercises with her as well. And she would respond differently with those members of the family than she was with me. So that helped me a lot to also pass on some of that responsibility to the family to support her.
Well, it became a family endeavor at that point, right? Everybody
Yeah.
was cheering her on, wanting her to help because, to be honest, the siblings didn't want to do exercises with her forever. So they were like,
No.
yeah, let's get this done. Yeah. So that's amazing. So she went from hardly ever reading. You told this story to me. Tell them about the time that you were at the store, you were waiting in line, paying, and what did she do? Do you remember? The jar?
You're going to have to remind me.
Okay, I'll tell the story then. So this is when you're in Mexico still. So this is more the beginning of her journey. She had been working with us through the program, doing all of the stuff, and you are paying for something, and all of a sudden she says, Mom, what does tips mean? And you were like, what? You just read that. And it was so new to you because every time it was always, Mom, what's this say? Mom, what's this? Mom, read this to me. And then it was like that first magical moment for you that you went, she read something.
And because it was outside of any kind of required reading time, right?
Mhm.
She wouldn't read anything unless she had to. It was so hard. She just didn't want to do it, you
Mhm.
know? And then all of a sudden yes, I remember this. We were out and about and she read the jar. I knew she was capable of it, but for her to actually do it and then point it out. And then she starts reading things everywhere. But you have to understand, we're in Mexico. Most of the words are not in her language,
Mhm.
right? So everything is in Spanish. And she's learning Spanish, but not as concentrated as she still is learning English. And she's reading in English. She's not reading in Spanish. And so for her to see a word, and first of all, recognize that it's an English word, it's
Mhm.
one she can sound out and she's reading it. Now, everywhere we go, she's trying to read it. Even if she doesn't know if it's Spanish or if it's English, she's trying to sound out things. And Mom, what is this? And suddenly you realize that her world has just opened up. She's reading billboards. She's reading the labels. She's like, Mom, can we have these? What are those? And she'll read what's on the label. Oh, this is, let's just say it was Rice Krispies or something. And it's not just because she knew what it was. I would ask her, what does it say? And she'd read it. So sometimes even that being an opportunity for the child to, oh, would you like me to buy those? If you can read that, sound it out for me, I would love to get those for you. So helping her to find that the whole world is full of words. They're everywhere. We can't escape them. But when we know what they say, then we have so much freedom. We have so many opportunities. And she now gets all the jokes. It made her feel that independence that children crave. She's like, oh, I know what's happening here because I can read it.
Your family plays a lot of games. She now can participate without going, Mom, what's my card say?
Yes. Well, and this is another big, big thing. And this is a little further down in her journey, but her dad loves to sing karaoke. Loves it.
Oh, yes. Okay. I remember this.
Well, we're talking, if we're on vacation, he will look for a place that is hosting karaoke. And especially a place where the whole family can go. Because my background is in vocal study. I was a private vocal coach 15 years prior to this. And I taught students and I was a performer. I would support my husband because he loved it. He's a great singer. And I loved to do duet things like that. But our girls grew up with this being a thing in our family. It's important. But they would only sing songs that they had memorized or that they knew, or that was from a cartoon or something that they had watched many times. So they were very familiar with it. Well, she realized that she could follow the words on the screen. And it, again, opened up her whole world. She now doesn't need to sing songs that she already knows or that she's memorized or that Mom has sung to her whole life. So she's got it memorized. She doesn't have to sing the same 2 songs over and over again. She can sing whatever she wants because she can read the screen. So singing a slower song, she could keep up with the moving words and be able to sing all the words with her own eyeballs, and she could read it and she could do it. Then when it's a faster song, as her speed increased, now she can sing whatever she wants. She can sing anything in karaoke because she can follow all the words. A movie that's in a different language or has parts in a different language and it's got the words at the bottom, she doesn't need anybody to read it to her. She can read it to herself. Sometimes she's reading it to her little sister. It's such a life-changing thing.
Well, and she has the confidence, right? So she didn't know me very well. So when we very first got on with sessions, because she didn't know me, she immediately shut down. And she's like, mm-mm. And so getting up on the stage and not feeling confident because she couldn't read, right? Those were things that she would shut down with. And so for her being up on the stage and also choosing a song that she hasn't memorized was huge. Like it was bigger than big.
Another important thing to point out about her personality, though, too, is literally that if she was uncomfortable at all, she would shut down. She would literally crawl into her shell, and there was nothing you could do to pull her out of it.
Hey, just a quick heads up. Everything we share here at the Vision Reading Academy podcast is based on real life experience and solid research, but we're not a medical program. We don't do vision therapy or optometry, and nothing we say should be taken as medical advice. If you've got concerns about vision or health, definitely check with a licensed professional.
Case in point, she was taking dance. She was 3 years old. She was in a dance class. I didn't even know if she could perform at the recital because I had never seen her dance from start to finish the whole thing, because the moment she got uncomfortable, her arms were folded, her head was down, she looked at the floor and she did nothing. Except that, of course, she would look up and kind of watch what was going on, but she would not participate. So she would do X amount of the class and then with the rest of it, arms folded, head down, and just kind of watching and observing. So I asked the dance instructor, should I just pull her out of the class? And she's like, no, keep her in. You'd be surprised what she's learning, even though she's not really doing it. So I was getting her dressed one day and she says, come on, PK. And she demonstrated for me what PK is. And I was like, she is learning. Okay. And then I was watching her rehearsals and I would only see her dance half of it. And I was like, this is going to be interesting. Here comes picture day. She's all dressed. She's in her beautiful costume. And her grandparents had come to also watch her perform. And we're sitting there watching the dress rehearsal and recording it. She literally did the entire dance from start to finish. I had no idea she knew the whole dance. So that also goes to show it's not an intelligence issue either. She was highly intelligent, but her discomfort would shut her down. So fast forward to the performance, the conditions set her up to fail, unfortunately. It was a situation where there's two songs. She's backstage. She looks at me. She goes, Mom, I have to go potty. We go running for the bathroom. It's a panic thing. We got to hurry. She's going to be on stage. We get her to go to the bathroom. You can see where the energy is going, right? This is total disaster. So we get her dressed. We run back to stage. We still have a few moments to breathe and calm down. Then she turns and looks at me and goes, it's freezing. It was very cold backstage because the lights are warm. The stage is warm, but backstage is freezing. And I was like, okay, this is not going to go well. It's not going to go well. But I'm okay with whatever happens because this is her thing. It's fine. It's her turn to perform. She walks out on the stage, arms and head. And she literally just stood through the entire, she didn't even try any of it. At least she walked out there, but she stood there. There were so many giggles from the audience. And I was prepared. I knew that there was a very good chance just because she was nervous, just because she was scared. And then we had those two big things that she was like, I am so uncomfortable now. And there was that total refusal to do anything. And that's where a lot of it's come from. So as her confidence is increased and her boundaries have therefore increased. So she's now doing things she wouldn't have considered doing, but it still has to be her idea.
Okay.
That stubbornness, it still has to be her idea. And so me still working with that aspect of her personality and understanding that if she's very, very threatened or she's uncomfortable, there will be no willingness. So allowing her to make choices has been a big part of her journey, as well as showing her, helping her to see where she was and us having those earlier benchmark recordings and hearing her, how she used to read and how slow it was. And she's like, I don't remember that. I never remember reading like that, or I don't remember that it was that hard. Or her seeing those overlapping words. And she's like, that's how it always used to look. And I had no idea that she saw things like that. And had I taken her for an evaluation, she most likely would have been diagnosed dyslexic.
Like my daughter.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. And so she's come full circle, right? She went from not being able to, if there was any kind of little discomfort anywhere, she would shut down to, you just went and took her to archery after sewing and there was only one round left. And of course it was a chaotic mess trying to get there. And she only had one thing left. And so she could have totally just been like shutting down. Nope, I'm not doing it. It's not right. And she didn't. And she still did it. And she went through with it. She got 2 bullseyes. So this has been something that has been life-changing for her. Not just because now she can read, that whole world opened up for her, but it has completely changed her ability to adapt to life and to be able to go through life as a completely different individual because she is more confident with herself. She has faith in herself more. She has faith in other people more. She's more willing to try things because she can see what that can now lead to. And that's been incredible. So Looking back, what do you think was the most valuable part of the VRA experience for your daughter and your family? I mean, we kind of talked about it a little bit more, but is there anything else you want to add to that?
I think ultimately it's her evolution. Now that she's developed this incredible confidence and her comfort zone has expanded rapidly, she has the ability to be more authentically herself. It's like she has this permission to be who she is with confidence versus constantly doubting herself, feeling like she's less than her siblings and staying inside this shell to protect herself. She gets to be this beautiful butterfly. She has burst through the cocoon, and all of our family gets to enjoy her full authenticity. We go from seeing her on stage like this to singing karaoke, any song she wants, any song she loves. But it really just allowed her the permission to be herself. And because all of our family was invested in her success, because dad's helping, older siblings are helping, they're reminding her, an alarm would go off. She has a tablet, and we would put in her calendar at 9 a.m. She's got an alarm going on. And if it's not there, there were siblings are like, hey, it's time for exercises. So she had total family support. Everybody was very, very invested in her success. And then as she was succeeding, we got to just watch her explode out of this. Well, it was a slow process. I say explode. That's not the right word. She did not explode out of that cocoon.
It was more like a lava flowing out slowly.
Very slowly and hardening at times, and then we had to melt a little bit. And it was a slow ooze, okay? It was a slow ooze, but we finally have a butterfly. We finally have a butterfly. And her entire life is forever going to be different now. My daughter's life is forever changed. The trajectory, her path, her opportunities, everything is different now.
You invested in her entire future, not just in a slight skill. You invested in her future and changed her life. Absolutely. I love it. I love it. What is one piece of advice that you would give to parents who are considering Vision Reading Academy for their child?
Oh. If their child is a candidate for VRA, knowing and understanding that this is a very involved program is, I think, the most important thing. There are exercises that need to be done and reading exercises that coordinate and help the eyes to do what we're doing exercise wise now, taking it to paper and applying it. Understanding that this can be a quick process if it's followed with discipline, with consistency, but it's not one of those quick fixes in the sense of we're going to do this for a couple of weeks and then everything's going to be magically better. And the reason why I say that is we're working with muscle groups that need strengthening. But had I have stopped with her when she was so stubborn and was like, this clearly isn't working, we wouldn't be here today. She wouldn't be where she is. But if I didn't stick with it long enough for her to achieve muscle memory, then we would have regressed and we'd be right back where we started.
And gotten rid of that tension too, that was holding back the muscles from gaining that muscle memory. That's a huge key. Huge key.
Yes, exactly. So it's so multifaceted and it doesn't take long. That's the thing. It doesn't take long. The exercises don't take long. The reading exercises don't take long, but you have to be disciplined. It needs to be scheduled in your day. It needs to be prioritized. You need to help your child by doing it with them, maybe even doing it for them as far as the exercises go, and set aside that time because you are investing that in your child. And that's really the only way that they're going to succeed. And them knowing that you have their back is huge. And especially if that child has struggled for a very long time. Sometimes with the teenagers that come to us do have that belief, like we were talking about earlier, they do have a belief that they're just stupid.
And they're broken. They're broken. And mom has tried everything with them. So why would this be anything different?
Yep.
They're done.
And loving on them and supporting them. And oftentimes even too with our teenagers, the parent gives that autonomy to their child to, this is for you, but you need to be responsible for this because this is your life and it's for the rest of your life. And so I'm not going to force it. I'm not going to make you do it. Our teens that come in that are like, all we need is one seed of hope. Even if it's a tiny seed, we as VRA will bring that seed to water. We will give water, but the actual watering, the actual growth, I cannot manipulate that. I can't do it as a coach. I can't do it as a mother. My child has to do it. They have to be willing to do it. This is for you. It will change your whole life, your whole world, and it will get easier. It's going to be hard at first, but I'm here. I will love you. I will support you. I will help you every step of the way. But the child has to choose in. And when they do the step, that's where the magic happens. But they have to do the things so that they literally will take the water from the coach and water their seed of hope. As they do, they start to sprout. It is not something that takes very long even. It's my favorite thing. When they trust and they lean in and they will, okay, fine. You say, I don't know if it's true or not, but I'll give it a go. They do it in a matter of a few weeks. We see growth. They start going faster. They start getting accuracy. And it's like, they suddenly go, okay.
Oh man, I can do this. You start seeing the sparkle in their eye.
Yes.
You start seeing more smiles from them. Like, it's my favorite too. I love it. I'm getting choked up right now because you literally you're watching this broken child and you're going, I can see your future. I know where it goes. Just trust me. Please, just give it a chance. Just go all in with it for a little bit. And if you don't see anything in a month, when you have gone all in, then fine. You've tried, right? But let's just try for a month and then we'll revisit. And every single time, 100% of the time, when they do it and they go all in for that month, they come out of that month a completely new child. But they still have work, right? They still have several months of work that they have to do, but they have that glimmer of hope of going, I'm not broken. I can do this. I'm not stupid. I can be just like every single one of my other friends, and I will get there now because they have that determination, because they have had such in life that they have struggled and that they have gone through and that they have fought for, that they have more of that perseverance than every single one of their peers. So you get that glimmer of hope in them and they just take off after that. And it is the most glorious thing to see. I love it so much. And you have seen it so much in your students as well. So I want to stop there because now we're getting into the coaching aspect of that. And I want that to be a whole nother episode. We can talk for hours upon hours of your coaching journey and all of the things that you've seen in your student. So, Vanessa, thank you. It's been amazing to have you. Thank you for talking with me about your daughter and your journey and how it's been life-changing for you and your family.
You're welcome. Thank you for not giving up on your daughter, because you doing that is the reason that this whole company exists, this whole opportunity. All of these broken parents and broken children are now these beautiful butterflies of hope and opportunity. And that is because you refused to give up on your child and did everything you could to find what would work. And you did. And now you've shared that with the world. So thank you for that, because my daughter's forever changed because of it. So
Thank you. All right. Well, we will see you back soon. It was great to see you. Thanks for tuning in to Raising Confident Readers, the Vision Reading Academy podcast. If today's episode got your gears turning, we'd love for you to subscribe, leave a review, or share it with someone who needs to hear it. I'm Crystal, founder of Vision Reading Academy, reminding you that learning isn't one size fits all, and every child deserves a custom game plan. Until next time, keep it curious, keep it science-based, and as always, keep helping those kiddos thrive.